Hi, I'm Aaron Bory and welcome to my food blog. Today I'm going to be doing fajita chicken tacos. Got my trusty apron on, but wait, it gets better. Oh yes. What does the fox say? Maybe you'll find out if you keep watching. The drink of the evening is going to be Lagavulin. This stuff is a scotch. It's a 16-year. It's delicious. It's probably one of my favorites. It's a little smoky, but not disgusting like Lafroig. Remember, number one rule, gotta have a drink while you're cooking or it doesn't work. For chicken tacos, you will need chicken. You will need some onions, peppers. I like to do one green and one red. You can mix it up any way you want. You need a little soy sauce. Well, that's crazy, right? It's gonna be awesome. You're also gonna need some oil and some spices to make them taste like Mexican stuff. What, you ask? Why do I use that as opposed to all of this? Well, because this costs probably around 10 bucks and this probably cost me less than $1. We are also going to make guacamole, and for guacamole you will need avocados, some onion or shallot, red pepper, serrano pepper, garlic, pepper, and some salt. You may be saying to yourself, Aaron, you can't put all that in guacamole. I just did. I've got a 6-quart saucepan on the back burner. I'm going to turn the heat up. The idea here is that I want enough water that when I put the chicken in, the chicken is almost going to get steamed. I just kind of want to cook it real quick because I'm going to slow cook it later, try to make it as tender as possible. It's going to break apart and it is going to be delicious. I've got 2 other pans over here. I've got a little oil in both of them. Show you what I'm going to do with those in a second. Time to chop these up real quick. Shabam! That was quick. On my back burner for the onions, I've got about a cup of water in this pan with some oil that I put in. All of it went in cold, okay? I didn't have the pan on. That's important. I've got the heat on now at about a medium high. I'm going to add the onions. The reason for the water is the steam is going to cook them a lot quicker and it's going to evaporate. Our onions are going to caramelize. Yes, believe it or not, just watch. Alright, so we've got the onions in now. We're going to let them just start to steam and get translucent. Right, while the onions are going, the chicken is looking like it's starting to cook pretty good on the outside. We can probably pull the pan off the heat. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the chicken on the cutting board, we're going to cut it up, and then we're going to put it back in. The chicken's going to be hot, so we're going to use our tongs to hold it while we cook. You're going to see that the chicken is still raw. That's okay. We're just going to cube it up, and we're going to stick it back into the pan. Once the chicken is cubed, we're going to go back into the pan with it. All right, we're going to get started on our guac now. What we're going to do is we're going to take the avocado. This is how you cut it. Take your knife at the top, you push in there, you're going to rotate it. Okay, don't cut yourself. Alright, now you're going to give it a twist. Look at that, comes right out. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to take the knife, don't hit yourself, and you're just going to pop it right into there. Boom. Give it a little twisteroo. Look at that. Got my avocados in the bowl. I've chopped up about the equivalent of a quarter of an onion. I used a little bit of shallot and about half a serrano pepper. These things are hot. They're hotter than jalapenos. I've got my big boy pants on, so I left the seeds in. But if you don't have any big boy pants, you can take them out. I've also got about 2 teaspoons of raw garlic that I'm going to put in. All this ingredients is going to go in. I'm going to smash this up. I start with a knife often, and then I'll sometimes move to a fork and really squish it all. As you can see, I'm using this fork to kind of smush the avocado and break it up, and it's going to get creamy. I just found some cilantro that I'm going to chop up and throw in here too. You can also use a lime if you'd like. All right, I'm going to add about 1 Roma tomato that I chopped up and took the guts out of, and about the same amount of fire roasted red pepper. You may be wondering, Aaron, how did you get so much awesomeness in that bowl and defy physics like that? I don't know. You're going to see that most of the chicken, the water is starting to evaporate. I can now use my spatula and actually break the chicken up just by pushing down on it. That's how I know it's pretty much done. It's ready to just get more tender. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my 2 seasoning packets, and I'm going to add a little bit more water. going to keep the heat at probably about a 7 and just let it reduce. And I'm going to add more water and let it reduce. And I may do that while I break it up about 2-3 times. Onions are completely translucent now. They're starting to stick. You can see that I'm starting to develop a little bit of a brown color. And that is going to start to happen really quick here soon. Now though, now that the chicken's getting closer and the onions are getting closer, it's time to turn on the front pan and get my peppers in there. Alright, I pulled the chicken closer to me so you get a better look at it now that I've added the seasonings. I'm going to keep breaking it up like this, and I'm going to also scrape the bottom. And as the liquid runs out, the chicken is going to start to stick to the bottom, but it's also going to caramelize. If it sticks too much to the point that we can't scrape it and see that it gets clean, then we're going to add a little more liquid. And when with the hot pan and the cold water going in, you'll be able to scrape that real easy. And it's actually a good thing. It's going to add a ton more flavor. All right, I'm scraping my onions, and they are really starting to brown. If for some reason I can't scrape the little brown crumbs off the bottom, I'm going to add a little bit of water. That'll loosen it up, and I'll go back to scraping. But these look like they're pretty much done. Peppers are looking good. Dish is about ready. Once they're about ready, I'm going to turn the heat down. Okay, got it on about low. And this is where I'm going to add my soy sauce. Oh yes, soy sauce. Believe it or not, a lot of restaurants do this. If you've ever been to Chili's, the one thing that they do right is fajita onions. And their secret is Kikuman soy sauce. My chicken is nice and shredded looking. It is ready. That is going to be good. I like to use flour tortillas. You can also use corn, and you can just eat them like a soft shell, or you can steam them. But I'm going to show you guys one more trick where I'm actually going to fry them, and they are just awesome. All right, what I've got here is my saute pan with about an 1/8 inch of oil in it. I've got it on a little above a medium high. Got my tortilla shells in there. They're bubbling. They're cooking away. And this cooks quick. You can see that already. Now, if it starts to get too hot, you can add a little bit of oil to cool it down. All right? But you don't want to burn it. And be careful. Don't put anything wet in here. But these things get airy and delicious. Time to assemble. Shabam!